Hey guys, welcome back to Buzzer to Buzzer. Today, we got a very special episode in store for you guys. We are going to be interviewing a former tight end from Auburn University who had a heck of a career. In fact, he had more than 25 receptions, more than 300 receiving yards, and 5 touchdowns. And you may or may not remember him for having one memorable catch from the Outback Bowl against Alabama. Let me roll the clip real quick. You haven't figured it out by now, the person we're going to be interviewing name is Sal Cannella. Without any further ado, let's get him on the line, guys. All right. Hey, guys, we have the one and only, the man, Sal Cannella, with us here today. And Sal, first and foremost, thank you so much for coming on to our show. We know that we're young. We really appreciate you and your taking your time out of your day to come talk with us.
Of course, man. Appreciate y'all having me. Respect the grind at a young age.
Thanks, man. We appreciate it. All right, so let me first and foremost get started with asking, how are you and your family doing throughout this pandemic, and how has your training schedule been affected because of everything going on?
I mean, the family's good. I mean, everything, they've been kind of taking the necessary precautions and everything. They're back in Chicago, right by you guys. I'm in Arizona right now. That's where I've been training since January after the season at Auburn. I left. I've been out here for a couple months now. Once the pandemic hit, like the main place that I went and trained at, it did shut down. But luckily, I've been able to, in Arizona out here, everything's kind of a little less strict. So like private gyms have been open. So I've been blessed to be able to train at like a private gym and still be able to get my lifts and workouts in. And then I have a few trainers that like I get field work with on a weekly basis. So it hasn't slowed down really that much at all, honestly. Just kind of the normal places I would go to have been closed.
Okay. All right, man. We know that you find the way, and we hope that you're training, and it's awesome, man. You know, this pandemic's affected some people, and it's great that you and your family are doing good. We hope that continues.
Appreciate it.
All right, man. All right, so let me ask you about the hot topic going on right now. We're all dying to know, man, do you got any updates, any follow-ups you want to share with us in terms of developments of you potentially being signed?
No, so right now, after like talking with my agent and stuff, kind of everything's at like a pause with the NFL. Really, every professional sports team right now. Just the insight I've gotten is from different teams I've talked to that since this whole coronavirus happened and they don't know if they're going to have like rookie mini camps or what they're really going to do for training camp, every team signed like 10 to 20 less guys. And that's like info coming directly from NFL teams. So, it's basically like I'm going to get signed. I'm just going to have to wait a little bit longer, Like every team I've talked to kind of broke it down like, this is not normally how it would go, and it's like everyone's kind of just, waiting to see really how they're going to do things because it's kind of just up in the air. I've talked with, some of my former basketball coaches that's like NBA scouts. That's an NBA scout. And, he told me the same thing. He said, like, don't get discouraged or anything. Like, you're going to get signed. Like, I can tell you from, NBA standpoint, like, we're in the same position. Like, we're not really signing anybody or doing anything right now because we kind of don't know what's going to happen or how we're going to do things. So that's kind of just like where I'm at right now. Just basically just staying ready for when the opportunity comes.
For sure, man. This pandemic's affected, throwing everything into a limbo, and I'm sure that you've been affected because of that too.
Yeah, it's crazy. You kind of wish it would go how like you dreamed of it going, but not everything happens how you want.
So Sal, originally in high school, you were a basketball player, and throughout most of your life, you played basketball. But due to an injury, you transitioned over to football. So what was the transition like? Was it picking up a sport? Was it easy picking up a sport you weren't so familiar with?
Honestly, I always say this when people ask me that. I think basketball has helped me tremendously in football, just in terms of, especially at my position, kind of just like you do a lot of change of direction stuff in basketball, right? So there's a lot of cutting and stuff like that, like quick, playing defense. Everything's very, shifty movements, and kind of transitioning to like the wide receiver tight end position. It's kind of like the same thing, man. Running routes, you got to be shifty. You got to be good at change direction and stuff like that. So the transition honestly wasn't that hard. In terms of playing ball, and just working out and training with it, it's pretty smooth, honestly. The one thing that, it gets kind of overlooked, but you start to learn more and more once you get higher levels that you go to, is the mental side of the game, and kind of just understanding the game is more of a challenge. There's so much more that goes into it, than I knew in high school. From going from high school to junior college to Auburn, my football IQ is just gone through the roof. There's things I just didn't know in high school that I know now that honestly made the game so much easier. If that makes sense.
Yeah, sure.
So, Sal, after high school, you obviously went to JUCO. What made that, what was going into that decision? Why did you think JUCO was the best option?
Well, I mean, I didn't have any offers out of high school. I really had none. I had a preferred walk-on to Illinois State. That wasn't even official either. It was just it's kind of just up in there, and then kind of realized I knew I was better than that. And my brother went to junior college, so he kind of gave me the idea to email a bunch of schools. I kind of just went through looked up basically the top 25 junior colleges for football, and I just kind of emailed them all. And I would consistently send out the email every 2 weeks if they didn't respond. And it kind of came down to just being able to get a preferred walk-on spot out here in Arizona. Just kind of wild, just going from Chicago to Arizona is a different, big culture change. But yeah, I mean, it's kind of really my only opportunity, and I kind of knew how good I was and where I could end up. So instead of settling, I just bet on myself.
Yeah, for sure. So at JUCO, what experiences did you learn that really helped you along the way?
Straight up work ethic. I mean, no more, no less. I mean, it's not like a normal junior college. If you watch Last Chance U and stuff, it's not like that. That's the glorified junior colleges where they get all the stuff. They got the dorms, meal plan, all that. Ours was really just come out here. You gotta get your own apartment, get a job if you need to. There's no scholarships, only for the in-state players, and then you're kind of just on your own. So it was kind of I had to grow up quick, and really it was up to me. So I had to develop a sense of maturity and a real work ethic to consistently get better and better, and put myself in a position to succeed during the season, and then get offers. And that's really what it's about, is just getting film. And however you got to do it, whether it be in practice or in the game, it's kind of just taught me the hustle of everything, and kind of just getting it on my own. I did get some help along the way, but I learned, that I had to, take the ball in my hands and really kind of just push myself and, get myself to where I'm at.
Yeah, for sure. And we've heard of your story, your work ethic on and off the field, picking up a job as a bartender, correct? To provide for your family?
Yeah, as a bouncer. Yeah.
Bouncer.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
Just,
So,
this is what I had to do at the time. So, I mean, it was good experiences. I met a lot of people.
Yeah, that's great. So, coming out of JUCO, obviously you went to Auburn, and you received numerous D1 offers. Why'd you go to Auburn over the rest of them?
At the time, the honest answer is at the time they had a coach come in that but basically came from Arizona State, and they were kind of spread offense, and he was the OC, and he was coming in to be the OC at Auburn, and they didn't really use the tight ends that much, and their whole pitch to me was basically they're going to start using tight ends and how they're going to incorporate me into it and everything like that. And of course, I always wanted to play in the SEC. Like that was my dream. Kind of just wanted to play against the best competition, and really, they sold me on the fact that they were going to start using the tight ends and they're going to switch up the offense and everything. And, some of that did come true, but not everything. But at the same time, like, it is what it is. I made the most out of any opportunity I got.
Yeah, so to transition to your career at Auburn, I want to talk about one game in particular. This year at Alabama. I want you to describe kind of what the atmosphere is like in that game, playing in the Iron Bowl, and describe kind of playing in front of that big crowd.
All right. So, I mean, at Auburn, the Iron Bowl is basically, you got to think about it. In the state of Alabama, there's no professional sports team, right? So all they got is Auburn and Alabama are the two biggest, schools, which basically you're basically a professional athlete in those states. So that game, they break it down to you like this. Like, if you were to lose every single game and then just win the Iron Bowl, like, they're cool with it. Like, they're happy with it. Like, because that means everyone has bragging rights for the whole year, And that's kind of like, it's deeper than that, They'll come in and they'll have people come in and just speak strictly about, like, what the Iron Bowl means to them and, like, the rivalry and everything. And there's so much history to it. And to be able to, come in, really, that was the second play of the game when I scored. Not the second play of the game, the second snap I played the entire game. I think it was like the second quarter. And, it was just coming out of a timeout. And those games are different. Like, the stadium is rocking. Like, it's a different feel in the air for sure. And kind of based on how our season went, like, the opportunities we missed out on, we kind of knew we had to get that one, kind of just to have it sit well in our stomachs at the end of the year. And, like, to come out there and, have that opportunity to make a play like that and to actually make the play and, help us, help the team win, it was definitely a play I'll never forget. I think, like, in front of Bo Jackson, shit was crazy.
So, Sal, speaking of Bo Jackson, did you know that Bo was in the crowd? Like, when you were going for that catch? I mean, it was a spectacular catch, man.
I mean, he's always been on the sidelines for our games. Like, he's always there, just chilling, walking up and down the sideline in the locker room and stuff. But at the time, I didn't know he was right there when I went out there. What's crazy is once I made the catch, I actually do remember him, like, standing right next to the ref right there. But then, like, in the moment, everything happened so fast, I could barely, like, process everything that's going on. Stuff just kind of happens. But, like, after the play, gave me, like, a pretty good compliment. And then I happened to see the picture after the game, which that one's pretty cool. I'll probably hang that one up in my house when I get it one day.
Yeah, for sure. It's for sure picture is frame worthy. We can tell you that, man. Yeah.
Absolutely.
All right, man. So you've been playing football for a long time now. There has to be somebody who you idolize or emulate your game after. Do you have somebody in mind who's like that one person you look up to?
Yeah, I actually always looked up to Mike Evans. He was a receiver at Texas A&M. He plays for the Buccaneers now. I don't know. I always just thought, like, me and him had similar play styles. Honestly, when I was in high school, I would watch him a lot. And kind of going to college, I would actually reach out to him before and talk to him just on how it is being, like, a bigger receiver. Even though he plays receiver and now I'm playing tight end, I still, can take all the advice I could get. But when I was playing receiver in college, just kind of asked him, like, some stuff he would work on or, what he would suggest with being, like, a bigger dude, because he's about my size. So, I always idolized my game after him. And I always respected his game. So that's one dude for sure.
All right, man. Speaking of Tampa Bay, they recently added Gronk too. So you got them winning the whole thing. What's your outlook on the 2020 season? Who's going to be the champ?
Honestly, I mean, I don't have to bet. Honestly, I would probably bet on Tampa. Strictly, not even because of the offense. I mean, their offense is stacked. Like, that's no question. Their defense is nice. We got actually two of the DBs that I played with at Auburn got drafted to Tampa Bay, and they're the two starting corners. and they both put up crazy numbers in their rookie and sophomore seasons. So, I mean, not even on the offensive side, they're kind of well-rounded, and they're one of the best young secondaries on defense too. So, you know, if I was a betting man, I'm going to throw some money on Tampa.
All right, man. Cool. All right. So, man, one last thing. We don't want to keep you too long. We found out that you started your own clothing line, which is something pretty cool. Like, we don't see athletes, like, you know, going into another industry called, if I'm pronouncing this correctly, Nella. What was the motivation behind it? Like, how did you get started, man?
I mean, you know, I kind of always have been the dude that's been into clothes and fashion and everything like that. And, you know, coming out here to the West Coast right out of high school, I got introduced to a new sense of style. And that kind of just inspired me really to, you know, keep doing it. And then, like, going into Auburn, I, like, wanted to major in apparel design, and they had a really good program there. And, you know, that just kind of always, you know, just kept me, you know, interested in it and inspired in it. And, like, I don't know, as I've grown throughout the years, you know, I've always been just open to trying new style, whatever, drip, swag, whatever you want to call it. And, like, I've had this plan for, like, 4 or 5 years now. I always knew I was going to go to Auburn, you know, start my own clothing line. And, like, the thing is, I was working on the clothing line while I was in school and doing football and everything because, you know, I kind of looked at it as, like, you know, you got to ride the wave while it's hot, you know?
Yep.
So might as well, you know, while I'm coming fresh out of Auburn, you know, there's a lot of, you know, social media is huge nowadays. So as long as I got, like, the, you know, not a lot, but, you know, I got some publicity behind me, you know, it'd be a good time to have everything put together. And, you know, now it's out, and you know, I got new stuff coming on the way soon for the summer. And, you know, I'm excited for where that's going to go, too.
All right, man. For sure. I mean, we like the clothes, too, man. It looks pretty nice, and we just want to finish this off, man, by saying thank you once again so much for coming on here to Buzzer to discuss with us your past, your future. And we want you to know that we'll be here rooting for you all the way. And we're going to be watching you, man, once you get picked up. So we're very excited.
I appreciate you guys having me. You know, keep doing your thing, dude, for real. Like, keep grinding. You know, nothing great happens overnight, man. So keep just grinding, man. And, you know, best of luck with everything. Be safe out there.
All right, man. Thank you so much once again from all of us. Stay safe and healthy, and take care, man. Thank you.
All right, cool. Appreciate it.
All right, guys. We hope that you enjoyed this interview and this new type of episode in which we had the opportunity to interview somebody like Sal Cannella. We hope that we can bring you guys content like this more in the future. If you liked it, leave your comments, your opinions down in the comments below. We hope to catch you guys on the next one. See ya.